everybody out in YouTube land today? I hope this finds you well. We're taking a road trip. Where are we off to today, you might ask? Well, I have to run up to Celina, Ohio. You'd say, Celina, Ohio? Thought you lived in Indiana. I do live in Indiana. But I'm only, I think about 30 miles from Celina, Ohio. Where Lake St. Mary's is. So we're going to probably take a little peek at the lake while we're over there. I've got an errand to run over there. I was due for a modem exchange with my cable company, and none too soon, because my old modem was starting to act up on me, especially since that lightning strike. So they sent me a brand new spanking modem, and they want the old one back. And in order for them to get the old one back, apparently, I have to take a road trip up to Celina, where the UPS office is, to ship it back to them. Because the box is too big for any drop boxes around here. All the drop boxes around here just take letter size packages, and this is a great big old box. So we're going to take us a little road trip on up to Celina, Ohio, to the UPS office. Now, I've not been to the UPS office up there before, but I got a pretty good idea on where it is. I shouldn't get too lost, I don't think. We're going to find out. But I'm leaving Portland, Indiana, where I live, headed north on 67 on my way out of town. So you're going to get to see the sights with me as we go. And not a whole lot of sights to see, actually. It's country. You're going to get to see the country. Amish territory up here. We're just passing the Portland Municipal Airport. And some factories and getting on out of town here. There's a little motel and feed company. I probably need to make a little trip to the feed company here in the next week or two, get a few things from them. But you can see, you know, town, Portland isn't all that big. We was halfway through it when I turned on the camera. It's the county seat of Jay County, Indiana. Population of a little over 6,000 people. And we're going to take a little trip up through Bryant up here that says that's 5 miles up the road according to the sign. And I'm sorry if the camera's wobbling a little bit. I'm having to hold it while I drive because the camera mount thing, I brought the one in for the dash, but it is not going to sit up on my dash. My dash has a little curve to it, and the mount is in rebellion. So it is what it is. So you're riding along freestyle with me. It's interesting as you ride up through here. There's phone poles there along the road that carries the electrical wiring to the city. There's a little sign right there that shows the horse and buggy, says to watch out for the horse and buggies along the road. But a lot of these houses along through here, there is no electrical wiring going to the house itself from the poles because they're Amish and they don't believe in electricity. They do everything the old-fashioned way. And you know, as much as we rely on our computers and all of our technology, there is something to be said for the old-fashioned way. When we lose electricity and power in our homes, we have a fit. I know one time I had to do without electricity for a week when a big old snowstorm come through and I was out in the country. Holy smoke. I thought I was going to lose my mind. You couldn't do nothing because everything in the house was electric. I was lucky enough that I had propane heat that didn't require electricity to run it or I'd have froze to death. But was cold or you had to figure out how to build you a fire. Because I didn't have no fireplace or nothing. So you have to be able to go outside and light you up some kind of a fire on a grill or a fire pit or something in order to fix you something warm to eat. And there was no TV, there was no radio unless you was lucky enough to have a battery-powered radio. And no lights unless you had your lantern. Now, you know, I was lucky enough I had some candles and lanterns and stuff, and I had enough batteries for the flashlight to last me until such time as I could get back to town. You know, you're out in the country in the wintertime, snowstorm, and you ain't set up for it with four-wheel drives and special equipment, snowmobiles or something. You're sitting there. And to this day, even though I live in town, I keep enough food laid in that, hey, if it comes to snow, I don't have to go nowhere. We've been very fortunate the last few winters that we ain't had big snows. You know, it's been, generally 3 inches or less. There's been a couple times maybe we got 4 or 5 inches, but for the most part it's been 3 inches or less of snow when it does snow, and then it melts off in a few days. I ain't even had anybody shovel my walks off in the last 3 years because it's not worth it. You know, pay them $20 to mow to shovel. Let me get spit out to shovel the blasted snow, and it's melted off in a couple of days. My sidewalk ain't that much traveled that they can't wait a day or two or wade through it one. Mailbox is out by the street, so they don't have to walk the sidewalks. But yeah, you know, the Amish, they laugh at us. Oh, you lost electricity, why ain't that too bad? They'll cook on gas stoves. Some of them still have the old-fashioned wood burner stoves, some big old black wrought iron kitchen stoves, the old-fashioned kind. My Aunt Lily cooked on one of those, clear till the day she couldn't cook no more. She's my great aunt on my dad's side of the family. She was Dad's aunt. And Aunt Lily was blind in one eye. But that didn't stop her. She's a spunky gal. Boy, I tell you what, I had a lot of respect for her. She was my grandmother's sister-in-law. And I spent a week with them one time. They didn't have no electricity in the old house. And it was just because that's the way they was taught to live, you know. It didn't have nothing to do with their religion. Just that's how they was brought up, and they just stuck to it. They had an old hand pump in the backyard there outside the back door where they pumped their water. One of them old hand pumps. You've seen them, you know, the handle that you pump up and down. I'm sure you've seen them. You may not know what they was when you seen them. But yeah, that's how they got their water. And they had a big old metal tub that was their bathtub. Big old round wash tub. And it was cold when I spent some time with them. It was in the fall of the year. And they, when it was bath time, they would heat water on that stove there in the kitchen. And pour it in that metal tub in the front room where the fireplace was. And that's where they took a bath. There's curtains there to shut the door off. what they's doing, you know. And they take their baths in there in the tub in the front room where it was warm with the fire. And the fire was a great big old stone fireplace too. It wasn't them little dinky fireplaces you see today in the newer homes. This was a huge, big old fireplace. Aunt Lily could cook in it too. It had one of them arms, wrought iron arms that swung in over the fireplace. And I was hanging around with their granddaughters, and their granddaughters had a bedroom upstairs there at Miss and Lily's house. And the mattresses were feather mattresses that Aunt Lily had made herself. They were called feather beds, where she had plucked the chickens and geese and turkeys and stuff and saved all their feathers up. Washed them out real good, dried them, and then fluffed them and stuffed them in them, what you call bed ticking. It was a very tightly woven fabric that was real heavy. They called it bed ticking. And those beds was so soft. And since it was fall of the year and cold outside, and there was no heat upstairs, obviously, you know, the only heat in the house was the fireplace. So what they do is they would heat bricks there in front of the fireplace. And then they grab them with the fireplace tongs and they take them upstairs and set them on the foot of the bed. Pull the covers up over them, and that would heat the bed up. You get underneath these great big old heavy comforters on the bed and soak up the heat from them hot bricks that you laid at the foot of the bed. And your body heat, then along with that, would heat it up warm enough that you'd be warm all night in the bed. Boy, you didn't want to have to get up either, because they didn't have no bathroom. They had an outhouse. And if you had to get up in the middle of the night, then you had to pretty much get dressed, because it's cold outside. You'd have to go down the path with your little lantern. They had lanterns. Take your lantern out to the outhouse, hang it up there, or add a hook on the wall. Do what you had to do, and you do it quick too, because it's cold outside, and then you put it back to the house. That's how they lived, and she didn't have no washing machine either. She washed a lot of her clothes by hand in an old scrub board. Her daughter-in-law would take laundry for her once in a while up to the laundromat and wash it when she had last day of April, Monday, that I'm filming this. And a lot of the ground has been worked. Up here where I'm driving through the country. Hopefully you're able to see that, where everything's nice and flat, been worked up. These are big farms that I'm passing right now, that where they do have tractors. You know, they're not Amish, obviously. It's a crisp morning out this morning. It's in the upper 30s. Supposed to get up in the 70s today. They had a alert come out this morning from the weather alert that said that couldn't burn no fires or anything, you know, burn no trash or anything outside because of the possibility of fires getting out of control. Ooh, I'm passing a poultry farm. I smell it. Woo-wee. Poultry barns and big setup that they've got. Oops, camera getting out of control here. Sorry about that. Now we're leaving Indiana and going into Ohio. Right here's the state line sign. Where 67, Route 67 becomes Route 29 as you go into Ohio. Changes numbers on us. So we're on 29 now. And we'll take that right on into Celina. I plan to be doing a little bit of work on my garden area as the weather warms up here. Been waiting for the temperatures to get up out of the 30s, for goodness sakes. And this Sunday night into Monday morning was supposed to be the last of that. So weather be warming up and I can get out there and get some work done. I've got a mulched strawberry bed and all them fabric sacks that I've got my garden to plant in. I've got to get them cleaned out from over the winter time. Get all the debris out of them, turn the soil, get my fertilizer mixed in. Because in the next couple of weeks I want to have the garden out. We got to get that soil worked so that it can warm up. I wonder how many people are like me. When you see traffic coming at you, you got to wonder, where are they going to? down so that we are in compliance. Ease through the school zone. There'll be a URL down there for my other channel, my frequency channel, and that one has a lot of stories in it, some funny ones and some sad ones, things that I've gone through in my lifetime. Okay, we're going to turn right here. It's where 29 turns and goes up through town. And downtown Celina. 29 turns back to the east here. And got another red light to stop at. Population of Celina is. I know it's bigger than Portland. Okay, we're coming up on the lake up here. I'm just going to pull right in here in the parking lot and get you a bird's eye view of the lake. There's the lake, Lake St. Mary's. Try to take a view of the entire thing there, or as much of it as I can. I can't get the entire lake in, but see how choppy it is? It's always like that. There's some ducks out there swimming. See all them ducks? There's the old choppy lake. There's the goose kidding you. It's a big old lake. Now I'm going to get turned back around here and back out on the street. Head back over to the UPS place. There we go, right on down the road again. Turn my heat down in here. So I needed it when I took off. Now the sun's shining in here and it's warming up. I don't need the heat on. This place we're going is right out here on the edge of the city, where they put up a whole lot of new construction and new businesses. They got a new Walmart and a new Menards and a new Lowe's and and stuff out here. Traffic just spaced right out now. Not grouped up. Okay, so we know we got to go down here and turn at the Walmart. At least that's how it showed it on the map, so we're going to try it that way. I'll be dogged if that ain't exactly where it is, too. There it is right in front of me, the UPS store. We'll go on back here, figure out how to park in front of this joint. Looks like they expected me. That's what I say when there's a spot right up front. I'm here early in the morning. They ain't been open but 15 minutes, so that's a way to do it. Get in before the crowd hits. All right, I'm going to shut down the camera, but I will be back to you in just a second. Okay, I'm back out here going out to the parking lot. That didn't take but just, well, I wasn't in there 30 seconds. Drop off that box, get my confirmation. So, it's all under control now. Going back out here to 29. Get back through town and back over to Portland. And there we go. Now we got the sun to our back. Want to head west. Tuesday, by the time I get it loaded and get it edited and get it through the encoder and then get it uploaded. I'm thinking about, I've got a Twitch video to do today, and I need to get a little work done on my OBS, because I've got a live stream to do on YouTube tonight. I need to work on the green screen stuff. A friend of mine showed me how to do it the other day, but then I had to take off everything I've done because working on a desktop, I couldn't get the desktop to work with the Chrome key on. Oh, so now it's back to square one with that, to get the Chrome key ironed out. And I didn't have it exactly right even then, because didn't have the lighting set up exactly right, so I got some work to do on that if I want to do OBS on YouTube tonight. Things are looking really nice as far as my setup is concerned. Got my new studio set up, and I've got my new camera, and I've got my new microphone, new lighting, the new green screen, and everything set up good. My computer's relatively new. Got it last summer, so that's all looking good. Looking eateries in this town, but I don't go out to eat because I don't have anybody to go with, and I ain't gonna go by myself. That's one thing about Portland. People don't seem to be none too friendly, wanting to be friends with anybody, enjoy company or anything. Okay, we just follow these signs on down here. This is 127, so I'm going to turn and go down 127. This is the way you came, even though the signs ain't saying nothing about 29 until you get to the next block, but that's okay. Big old courthouse over there, you can see past that truck. Back the way we came, even though the signs say a little bit different. This works for me. Go right down here to this traffic light. Alright, head back west again. tell you stories about my gardening when I was a kid. We always put out huge gardens. It was like an acre of garden that we put in. And it was my job from about the time I was around 10 years old on to raise that garden. Mom would see that it got in the ground. Dad would see that it was fertilized good. And then, after that, it was me. I was the weed puller. I was the harvester. I was the one that put the vegetables up. And they started that, I think I was around 12. When she taught me how to can and freeze stuff. And that was my job. And boy, I hated it at the time. I hated it with a passion. But looking back on it, those are some of the best days of my life. That was valuable experience. Extremely valuable. I taught those boys that I raised, my stepson and my foster child, how to raise a garden. They didn't get to the part where they would know how to can and freeze stuff. Unfortunately, we never got into that with them. But they do know how to at least raise food to eat. I asked them both one day. I had them both down tomorrow helping me with work. And I said, hey, let me ask you boys something. I said, if push ever comes to shove, just hypothetically speaking, and the bottom fell out of everything. There wasn't no stores to go buy, no food. If you had to know how to hunt, fish, raise a garden, raise your own food, cook it up, how to mend your clothes, how to do the basic skills to take care of yourself, build a fire, that sort of thing, build a shelter, would you know how to do it? And they both kind of stayed for a minute and said, yeah, we could do it. I said, well, then I've done good. If I've taught you that much, then I've done good. Boy, oh boy, talk about bushel baskets of vittles. My goodness. Full corn. Now the bushel basket's full, dump it in the back of the pickup truck. And then Mom worked in the county seat. And she would get me up the next morning after we'd filled that wagon up. Or the, not wagon, but the bed of the truck up with corn. And I would go to work with her, and while she was in doing her job that day, I'd be out at the truck selling corn. And so many years for $1. Fill up the grocery sacks full for people. Collect the money. Pick green beans by the bushels. There's a little convenience store, you call them now. We call them little gas stations. It was about 10 miles from the house. And that feller would buy my bushels of tomatoes and my bushels of green beans from me to sell there at his little store. That was all extra crop, you know, after we had put up everything that we wanted to put up for the garden so that we'd have food for the winter. And pickles, we'd raise cucumbers. I'd make all kinds of pickles, bread and butter pickles, spear pickles. dill pickles. Move that camera a little bit so that you can see. It gets a mind of its own and wants to traipse off in a different direction. Now this fella just blinking to have something to do up here. I don't know what he's blinking about. Maybe because he's moving slow. Yes, yeah. Well, I don't know. His blinkers are all wonky. He's trying to turn. There he goes. Gravel pit back there. Big old dump truck going to get some gravel, I guess. Out in that garden because I'd sit and slide along what they call the bulks, which is the area between the rows, and I'd slide down as I went, whether I was weeding or picking or whatever I was doing out there, and I'd wear the seats of my britches out. Get out there early of a morning, right at daylight, as soon as it's light enough to see, because it was cool. And I disliked being out there early of a morning because the dew was still on, and everything would stick to you. You're sticking your arms down in them plants to get the weeds and stuff out, so you get dew all over your arms, and then every bit of dirt and everything would just stick to you. You work in the garden then until right around 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning when it would get hot. I'd gather up everything that I had picked out of the garden that morning and get it up to the house in the shade of a tree. And I'd sit there in the shade of the tree and break beans or prep tomatoes, where you take the green stem off of them. Have me a big old bucket of water there where I could rinse the tomatoes off good, any dirt or anything on them, and I'd get them in a pot, get them ready to process. Take it in the house and get to work. And I'd work in there until supper time, usually around 5 o'clock. I'd be getting dinner on the table. Mom would be coming in from work, and Dad would be wanting to get his dinner ate so he could get out to the barn and milk the cows. As soon as dinner was over with, wash up the dishes and get back out and work in the garden until dark. And it usually didn't get dark until around 10 o'clock at night. So, till 9:30, 10 o'clock, I'd be out there working in the garden, finishing up whatever so that I could get started the next morning again, do it all over again. Pick up wherever I left off. Every year, something would hit more than the other stuff. And that's just growing season. Some year you may have bumper crops of cucumbers. Other years it may be bumper crops of green beans. Other years it may be bumper crops of tomatoes. Just from year to year. Some years it's corn. You never can tell, just by what the growing season is, what's going to take off. One year, I will never forget how green beans, oh my goodness gracious, they went crazy. You can usually get about 3 to 4 pickings of green beans off of your green beans. As long as you're gentle with them when you're picking, don't rough them up too knock off. You never seen so many beans in your life, and they were huge. Oh my goodness gracious. Beans was like 8 inches long. Great big old long green beans. And I picked, and I picked, and I picked, and I picked, and I picked. I've never seen so many beans in all my life. I put beans up, I sold beans, gave beans away. Well, it was so bad that one night I had a nightmare about beans. My mother laughed so hard about it when I told her. But I said, oh my goodness gracious, if I never see a green bean again, I won't know what to do. She said, well, what's wrong? And I said, I have picked so many green beans. Last night I had a dream that the big old maple tree in the backyard, I had a ladder set up there to that tree, and I was up in that tree picking green beans out of it. And the green beans was so big that when I would drop them to the ground into the bushel basket, one green bean would just curl up in that bushel basket and take up the whole bushel basket. I have to crawl down and pull that basket out of the way and put another basket up so I could climb up that ladder and pick another bean. Oh, that's some heavy duty green beans right there, I'll tell you what. Get mad at her aunt would come out and raid the garden and not pay nothing, you know, for anything. Just come out, she needed some tomatoes or she needed some green beans, and then she'd take it back to town and give it away to her friends. Said a little something to her one day. She's out there about it, because she's out there loading up on sweet corn and everything, and I said, are you going to put all this up yourself? And she says, well, I'll put some up and I'll give some to the church and this, that thing, you know. And I said, you do realize that if you leave that alone, that I'd be picking it and I could sell it for money, that I'm putting money back in the bank. She slowed down a little bit after that, but she didn't quit. I was a kid, so, you know, I didn't speak up to my mother for fear of getting my jaws boxed for me good, but hindsight being 20/20, I would have told her, hey, tell her to keep her cotton picking fingers out of the garden. If she wants a garden, put out her own. truck out of the way, and I'll go turn the corner. Alright, there we go. On through Bryant. Equipment dealer. Got some fancy lawnmowers out there. I sprayed my yard down with Roundup. The only part that I intend to mow this year is going to be right out of the street, between the sidewalk and the street, with the electric mower. The rest of it can turn brown for all I care. That much less for me to deal with. You may have to spray it 2 or 3 times, but that beats mowing it a dozen times this year. That's the nice thing about having that privacy fence around the backyard. Nobody can complain about anything that I do back there, my gardening or killing the grass or whatever it is I need to do. Should be coming around soon to do the mulching in my front yard. I got on their list, they called me and confirmed it, so it's a matter of them showing up to get the job done. That's why I like to get out early of a morning when I got errands like this, get them over with, get back home. So when they call and say that, hey, we're coming over, they mean business. Let them come on, do what they need to do. It's like the county or the state or somebody's out here doing some kind of work on the sides of the road. What all is up with that? Fascinated with those. They say that the temperature stays pretty even keel in them. Another kind of house that I've always loved, oh my goodness, I would have one of them in a heartbeat. I'm trying to think what they're, I just call them a dome home. I don't know if that's exactly what they're called or not, but it's a great big old dome, and I think those are absolutely phenomenal. I'd love to have one of those. I'd even, at one time, it's been many years ago, drawn up plans for, it was like a dome homestead, where it was like 3 domes and they all connected to each other. And one of them was a house, and another one was the garage. It was a garage shop combination. And then the third one was a barn. And I thought that that would be cool, put up on a nice big country lot someplace. And the barn part up so that I could have some livestock, some goats and chickens and what have you. Keep all their supplies and feed and everything in there. And then the garage, of course, would have the vehicles, and it would have a shop area where you could have a wood shop, or, you know, tools and all that kind of thing. It'll all be organized real nice. And then the house would have a loft style bedroom in the top part of it, and the main floor would be your kitchen and living room area, and then it would have a basement in it with a walkout where I could have my dogs and my laundry and, you know, all that kind of thing down in the basement. All your utilities and stuff would be in the basement. Could even have it fixed up so that you had a spare bedroom down in the basement if you had company or something. Have a bathroom on the main floor, and then have a like a half bath or something down in the basement with a shower. And all three of them would be connected by tunnels. I thought that would be so majorly cool. And we're hitting Portland again. Just about back home. It's a good thing, because it looks like my battery's getting pretty low on the camera. So I think right here I'm gonna probably cut her off. Check down there in the description of the video on all the URLs for the Etsy and the Patreon and the Twitch and the Twitter and the Instagram and all the stuff I'm on. Remember, I do a live stream Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 3 o'clock on Twitch, and I do a live stream on Mondays at 8 o'clock. That's all Eastern time. Monday nights here on YouTube. I'm pretty easy to get a hold of. You leave comments on the videos and I read them. Or you can drop me an email. My email address is down there in the description of the video. And with all that being said, I guess there's only one thing left to say, and that's Brenda's Crafty. Be like Brenda.